Hi there everybody, it's Phil Binks from Helpful Phil. It's today that I'm going to be showing you a product that I've kind of held back on because I've had a few problems with it, to be very honest with you, in the past, but those problems now seem to have been ironed out, and I think it's well worth now showing you a product that I intend to use a lot more often. I've made a video in the past showing how you can write on a screen. So let me just do this as an example. Let me just show you what I mean. So my name is Phil, and you can see that I've been able to write that very easily. I can use this methodology if I'm teaching somebody or training somebody on how to do something. I can draw illustrations, and you'll see that as I go along. Now, in the past, I made a video which used a green screen as a method of being able to draw on a screen, but that was always a little bit kind of cumbersome. You had to set up a green screen in Apple Keynote or maybe PowerPoint, but wherever you drew on the screen was always a little bit of a hit or miss. It's much nicer now that you can actually draw on the screen and draw on an iPad, for instance, and see exactly where you're going to be drawing. So let me just show you how that would actually work out. I've got a inset here that's just come up, and this is an iPad here, and you can see me in the screen. This is exactly the same feed that you're watching comes up on the iPad, and this is a feature of a product called Video Pencil. Video Pencil runs on an iPad, and it allows you to draw on the iPad screen, and that feed gets sent back into your video feed and allows you to see what you're drawing. So I'm going to turn the Video Pencil icon off, but let me just show you the kind of thing of how exact you can be. For instance, as I look down, I can draw along my own glasses here very quickly, very badly, and maybe I'll just draw the outside outline of my own head, and all the way around to the chin. Perhaps I'll give myself some orange lips, and as I now move away from that, you can see that I was really able to draw and write exactly where I wanted to on the screen, just using this is an old Apple pencil. Just show you it just there. So that's the Apple Pencil. It should come into focus, hopefully, and it does. So that's one of the Apple Pro pencils, pressure sensitive, and this is quite an old iPad. It's an iPad Generation 6. Now, I'll say that it's very likely that these features would work even better on a newer iPad. I just happen to have an old iPad that I like to use for this particular feature. So that's what I'm going to try to show you today. So if you're interested in how you can use that, let me give you a couple of other examples. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you using this grey rectangle that I've set up as an overlay in Ecamm Live to show you how Video Pencil actually works, to give you a little bit of an idea. It's a little bit technical, but hopefully this will help you to understand it. So I'll be as quick as I possibly can. So we start off with a software product on your computer, and in my case we're using Ecamm Live. So Ecamm Live actually outputs a video scene, and so here I am smiling away on the video that's being sent out by Ecamm Live, or being recorded actually into Ecamm as live as well, because of course somewhere you've got a camera here filming everything, and that camera feed goes into Ecamm Live as well. Anyway, Ecamm Live in this situation is doing a couple of things. It's recording your data into a hard drive, but one of the other things it can do is it can output a thing called NDI. It's an NDI video feed. It's like a wireless video feed, and that wireless video feed can come out and it can go into your iPad. And it can be received on your iPad through the Video Pencil software. Okay, so Video Pencil is then going to be able to show onto the iPad your video output. But what we've also got is the ability within Video Pencil software to create a transparent overlay that sits over the top, and it's that transparent overlay just here. So if I put TXP overlay, so the transparent overlay here sits above what you're viewing from your iPad, which is the video that is being output through the NDI feed. Okay, what then happens is that the Video Pencil software, and I'll put the software back up here, that actually then returns that back into Ecamm Live. So then what you get is the ability to see both the video feed and the transparency on top. And essentially what you see there is what you've got on this screen that I'll show you now. Is you can see my drawing on the screen, and you can see the video feed also on there. So if I turn off the layer, so there's a transparent layer, this transparent layer up here, I can turn that on or off, or I can turn it on. So here, let me show you. If I turn it off, then the feed will disappear, or I can turn it back on again. Okay, so that's the actual transparent layer. I can clear the drawing. If you see down the bottom here in the inset, there's a clear drawing button, and that will turn that off. Okay, so now I've got nothing to show you because I've just cleared the full drawing. So I'll show you the interface of Video Pencil, which is just up here, in the next moment or two, so you can understand how that all works. Hopefully that became a little bit clearer for you as to what you're actually doing. So just as a reminder, you've got a Video Pencil transparent overlay. That's the overlay. And then below that, you've got your, I'm going to say your video feed. And that sits on your iPad. So both of those are actually on your iPad. So your iPad's sitting here containing both of those. The Video Pencil layer is sitting above the actual video feed. And Video Pencil sends that transparent overlay back into your video editor of choice. Or recorder. And in my case, that is Ecamm Live. Okay, so hopefully that is a little bit of a clear thing for you. Let's move on. And now I can show you the iPad itself. So I can select along the bottom. You've got a number of different pens that you can choose from. So if I write with one, I'll just say hello. There you go. So I'm writing. In fact, if I show you here, so I'm writing hello on the screen, and you can see it comes up immediately and allows you to write text wherever you want to on your video. So this is a transparent layer that's going across the screen back into my video feed. And I can hit the clear drawing button. Across the top, you've got a settings menu, and that brings up a variety of different settings. But what I want to show you is the NDI button far right at the bottom there. So here we're able to see that you can send the NDI output. That's the button that would allow you to send that in and out of your computer. You can choose the resolution of transparent overlay that you're sending. I find that the 1080 is perfectly good enough, but if you really want to go for 4K, you can, but you just have to make sure you've got a good enough bandwidth to be able to do that. Let me scroll up a little bit, and here it says about the transparent output over NDI. You should really try to match the frame rate of your video recording with the frame rate set here, so you can go for 24, 30 or 60 frames a second. And the last thing here is an interesting new one, and it's kind of what half the reason that I'm finding it all works better now. Enable capture for stroke previews. In the past, I did have a situation where I would write on the screen or draw on the screen and it wouldn't show up. And discussing it with the developer, he's now added this ability to turn off and on metal capture. So if you're finding that you can't see what you've drawn on the screen, but you know that it's all set up properly and you've turned your video pencil layer on, it might be worth just turning off the metal capture if you've got an older iPad. If you've got a newer iPad, it will start to work for you. So I've just tapped the screen to get to move that on. The place that you would select your feed to come in to Video Pencil is along the top of the screen there. Up here, it says Ecamm Live, and that will then mention whatever the name is of your computer, and that will then allow you to select the NDI output from your computer, i.e. from Ecamm. You select the output in Ecamm, and that will then start to feed the full video screen back into Video Pencil. One of the other things I want to just show you there, so I've got a clear drawing button at the bottom. Let's have a look at some of the tools here in this area. You've got different pens, and if I touch, let's say, the blue pen, you see I can change the color. I've got a width ability, so I can choose different widths of the pen. I tend to like to use a thicker pen because, of course, with the Apple Pencil, the harder you press, the thicker the line becomes, and that gives you that ability if you've chosen a wider brush in the first place. You can select to have just an even width and it not change at all based upon the pressure, but I like to be able to press harder and get a wider width if I want to. So that's a set of tools. Oh, by the way, you can change the color to any color you want, choosing a spectrum or grid or the sliders. Any of those, you can choose a set of colors and save them in the bottom of the screen there. Okay, so that's what they are. You've also got a eraser tool, which is this one here, and if it widens out a little bit like that, just touch to the left hand side of it and you can then literally just draw over any of your lines and delete them that way. The other way of deleting a line, of course, is if you've drawn something, you've got the clear drawing button on the right hand side. Next to that, if I just draw something here, and I've got next to the eraser button is a button which is essentially, let's just do this, it's this one here. That one there is essentially a selection button, so I can now draw around the part of the drawing that I want to do something with, and I can actually move it around the screen. So I can now move it to a different part of the screen as a selection. So that's a really nice feature as well. And you can just touch the screen. And finally, one of the added features that you can purchase is what we call the laser pointer, and that gives you a laser pointer which follows around like a little bit like a worm. So if you just want to highlight something in the screen, you can just draw around it that way. There's a couple of other additional features. You can click on the plus and you buy a magic wand if you want to, as well, to add to that if you want. Okay, so that's the main settings. There are other settings there, but this isn't really a tutorial on that. So I hope you found that useful. The product is Video Pencil. Go online and search for it. I'll try and put a link in the description. So the old days of using a green screen in your presentation software really are totally outdone now. You just don't need to be able to do that. You can do something much better, especially if you've got an older iPad that's sitting there doing nothing. Do you know, I do that quite a bit with my iPads. I've got two iPads that are basically essentially redundant, other than I've now put them to great use in my video production. One uses Video Pencil, the other one uses the NumPad software, which is similar to the Stream Deck software. So I hope that that's been of use to you. Let me know if you need a better explanation, and I look forward to helping you again in the near future. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.